Okay, so the first question just asks us to find the equation of the circle, and it's going to be in this form that we learned a couple of weeks ago. X minus h all squared, y minus k all squared, and the radius squared. The fact that they gave us the center takes care of a lot of it right away. It's the opposite of the x coordinate, so -3 becomes +3. The opposite of the y coordinate, and now we just have to find the radius, which is actually the harder part, because we have to find the distance between those 2 points, because that is the radius there. So I'm going to jot down that point and that point. I'm going to find the distance between 3 and -3. That is a distance of 6. I'm going to find the distance between -3 and 5. That's a jump of 8. 36 and 64 are 100. So that's actually the number that goes at the end of the equation. The radius is in fact 10, but at the end of the equation is r squared, so that 100 stays there. Now, number 2 is a question that puts a whole bunch of things together. We talked about being given the endpoints of a diameter in class, that you can find the center by just finding the midpoint. So I'm going to do that first. -7 plus 1 divided by 2, and -1 plus 5 divided by 2. Add up the x's, divide by 2, add up the y's, divide by 2. That's going to give you -3 and +2. So -3, 2 is our center, because that's this point right here. So now we can start writing the equation. The opposite of the x coordinate, the opposite of the y coordinate, and we're just missing that radius. So we can actually take this and either this or this, your choice. I'm going to pick this one because the radius goes in both directions. So I'm going to figure out this distance right here by using -3, 2 and 1, 5. These 2 points here. The distance between -3 and 1 is 4. The distance between 2 and 5 is 3. 4 squared is 16. 3 squared is 9. So the end of the equation is a 25, which means the radius is 5, and the equation of the circle is right there. So we found the midpoint, which is the center. Then we used a center and one of the ends to find the radius and the equation. This question is asking us to find out if that triangle I drew is an isosceles triangle, which basically means, is that side equal to that side? It certainly isn't the bottom blue part here. There's no way that's even close. It's between these other 2 sides. So I made little triangles and used the sides of the triangle as the hypotenuse. So 6 squared plus 1 squared turns out to be radical 37 for this side. And if I do the pink one, you have 4 squared and 4 squared, and that's going to be 32. So C would be radical 32 on this side. You don't even have to figure out what square root of 37 and square root of 32 are, because 37 is obviously bigger than 32, whether you square root them or not. So those 2 are different than each other. Regardless of what they are not the same, which means they are not isosceles. And in number 4, it wants us to see if the point that they give us in each example, A, B, C, and D, if that were the extra point on this circle, would that point, this one, this one, this one, or this one, be in, on, or outside the circle? So what I did was I wrote the center, which is 3, -1, and I wrote that at the beginning of each problem. So now I want to compare that to the point they give me in each problem. The jump from 3 to 12 is 9. The jump from -1 to 2 is 3. 9 squared plus 3 squared is 90. If you look at the end of the equation, there was a 100. 90 is less, so it's inside the circle. Try the next one. From 3 to -3 is a jump of 6. From -1 to -9 is a jump of 8. 36 and 64 add up to 100. And if you look at the end of the problem, there's that 100. There's 100. Same number, so it's actually on the circle. It's the exact same number, so it was the length of the radius. In question C, from 3 to -1 is a jump of 4. From -1 to 9 is actually a jump of 10, because you're below 0 to above 0. So we have 16 plus 100. I already can tell that I'm over 100. And when you go back to that 100 at the end, 116 is higher, so this one is outside the circle. And the last one, from 3 to 9 is a jump of 6. From -1 to -9 is a jump of 8. This looks familiar. 36 plus 64 is 100. There's that 100 again. So it is on the circle. It's the exact same number.